Crafters, Lisa here from Fun Stuff Crafts. So glad you stopped by my channel today. So the holidays are upon us, and for the next 12 days I'm going to be releasing a video tutorial on either a Christmas ornament or a Christmas decoration. So wherever you join me in this journey, I'm so glad you stopped by. And please subscribe to my channel, support my channel, and click on the bell, and YouTube should alert you each time I upload a new video. So stay tuned. Let's see where the 12 Days of Christmas is taking us this year, and I hope you enjoy it. Hey crafters, time for another project on our 12 Days of Christmas. So today I thought it would be fun to show you how I use Cricut's design space to design a Christmas ornament and then use my heat press and do some sublimation. So I can't wait to show you this. I've done all kinds of different ornaments this year using my heat press and sublimation. Today I want to show you how great a picture shows up in an ornament. Just think of the pictures you could put on of your kids on some of these Christmas ornaments. So stay tuned. I'm going to join you in Design Space, and I'm going to show you how I design this out, and then we'll end up over at the heat press. So we're going to start this sublimation project inside of Design Space. And what we're going to do is, the very first thing I want to do is, the shape of my ornament is a circle. So I'm going to put that in there, and then what I'm going to do is I am going to size it up for the size of ornament that I have. So my ornament is 3.25 by 3.25. Okay, so that I have an idea of what is the size of the ornament, and I like to turn my black backgrounds to white. Now the next thing I want to do, and I'm making this for a family friend that is back in Indiana, and she wanted a picture of Mount Rainier. And so I'm going to go out to, I'm going to go out to my uploads, and I'm going to view all, and you guys can see I have been busy making lots of different things inside of Design Space. But I've got a picture down here of Mount Rainier, and I'm going to insert that, and then what I'm going to do is, see how my size of my picture right now is 3.5 by 2.65. So what I like to do is, the smaller of the sides I like to make the same size as my circle. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just leave it locked, and then I know that I'm going to be able to make this be the same size. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, I'm going to lay these over the top of each other. I'm going to grab both of them, and then I'm going to center align it. Okay, so that way I know that I've got total coverage. Now I'm seeing just a tiny bit stick through, and so because of that, I am going to make this image be 3.27. I want to make sure I get it totally covered. So I'm going to go ahead and grab both of them again. I'm going to center a line, and now you can see on my panel over here, both of these are grayed out, and so I'm going to use the slice feature. Okay, so that is going to slice out a picture for me, and then I can get rid of this white one. I don't need it anymore. And then I'm going to enlarge my screen just so it's a little bit easier for me to see. And then what we want to do is, on the ones that I had done before, is I had put some wording in there. And so what I'm going to do is, I'm going to grab text, and I am going to just type in, let's see, I have Pacific Northwest, and then I put a little swirl 2020 and another little swirl. Okay, and of course I've got way too long of writing, so I'm going to go ahead and downsize that to, let's start out with 10 and see where we're at. Okay, still way too big. Okay, and I see that I grabbed an exclamation point instead of another squiggle, so let's just fix that. Okay, So what I'm going to do now is I want to do this saying all the way around my ornament. So I'm going to use this curve feature. Now the curve feature is only available if you're on your desktop, okay? If you're working off of your phone, like I do a lot of times, it's not available, okay? So then once I make it a circle, I'm able to downsize it so it will fit into my ornament, okay? And then I want to bring, oops, grabbed the wrong one. I want to put that 2000 at the top, okay? So that way, okay? And then I'm going to grab the same thing. I'm going to grab both of them and I'm going to center align it, okay? And then I'm going to change my lettering. So I'm going to highlight my lettering and I'm going to change my lettering to white, okay? So there I have Pacific Northwest 2020 and a beautiful picture of Mount Rainier and the fields below it. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab both of my pieces. So see, I've still got the text and then I've got the picture. And what we're going to do is we're going to turn this and we're going to flatten it, okay? So by flattening it, it is now turned into one item and it is now a print, okay? It's a print then cut. I'm only using Design Space to get the print out of this, okay? I'm going to cut it myself. Now, one thing I still like to do is I like to make this just a tiny bit bigger than what my ornament is. So it just gives me a little bit of breathing space, okay? So there we are. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to go to Make, and instead of wanting to actually cut this out, I'm going to send it straight to the printer. Now, one trick I should tell you before we continue is, even though I'm not going to cut this with my Cricut, I do need to have my Cricut turned on. So I do have my Cricut turned on. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come over here straight to send to my printer. Okay. So then I'm going to grab the printer that I will be using, and I am going to turn the bleed off. I'm going to use my system dialog. Now the reason why I want to do this is I want to use the print features from my printer. And I have my printer already set up for sublimation printing. And one of the key things you want to make sure that you have set up, and I'm just going to show you, I'm using an Epson 7720 workforce, but I just want to show you that in the print settings, we want to make sure that your mirror image is turned on. Really important that we have that mirror image. So I'm going to go ahead and just go ahead and print it, and then I'm going to meet you over at the my heat press, and we will put this ornament together and I'll show you how great it turns out. Okay, so I just picked up the print off of my printer, and when it print into Design Space, as you guys can see, it has the normal box around it that Design Space puts in. And I am not going to cut it out on my Cricut. I just like to use my scissors and cut around, and then what we're going to do is we're going to place it on the ornament. There goes my heat press. My heat press is all up to heat. So let me just quiet that down for a minute because we're not quite ready. So these are the ornaments that I've picked up, and I found an Etsy shop that does such a great job of these ornaments, and I'll definitely link Ellen's shop down below. But when you get them, this is just a one-sided ornament. When you get them, they have a film on them, so it's really important to remove the film. Okay, so I'm just going to remove the film, and then what I want to do is I am going to place my ornament face down, okay, and I like to make sure I've got it nice and centered. And remember how we made it just a tad bit bigger than what the ornament was. And so you can see just a little bit of bleed around there. I'm going to grab some of my heat transfer tape, and I'm going to put some tape on it just to keep it in place. And now you guys, these go so quick. I'm gonna put it on my heat press. Now I've already got a piece of paper down below. I'm gonna put my print side up, okay? I'm gonna cover it with a Teflon sheet, and then we're gonna bring the heat press around, and we are going to press for 65 seconds, okay? And then that is all we need to do. So when I bought my, my ornaments from Ellen, she gives you a great direction sheet inside of the order, and it states right on here the degree to do everything on the heat press. That's really important, you guys. And one thing I would suggest, I keep that right here in my drawer. This is kind of all my heat press supplies, and I keep this really handy because there's nothing worse than wanting to go to press something and then forgetting what the right settings are. So she does a really nice job. I've done a couple orders from her, and she's really quick on her supplies too. So now, whenever you're dealing with the heat press, when I'm gonna take it out of the heat press, I'm definitely gonna put my gloves on. The other thing that I have in my little cabinet here that I like to have handy is some hot pads. You guys might recognize these if you've watched any of my Inspiration Fridays. We made these hot pads one day. So I'm just gonna set this one off to the side. We're gonna bring up the press, and it's gonna be really hot. And definitely you can see that it's come through. And what I'm gonna do is I'm literally just going to tear off my paper. I'll show you how beautiful these ornaments turned out. Isn't that just absolutely beautiful? Look at the color in that. So that is how you can use Cricut's Design Space to design an ornament and supplement it, and just the pictures are so vibrant, you guys. So hope you enjoyed this tutorial on using Design Space to create a template for a sublimation ornament. Thanks for joining me. And here's a close-up view of our finished product. I'm so glad you joined me for the 12 Days of Christmas journey. Please leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. And don't forget to check out my blog at funstuffcrafts.com for other DIY projects.